Are you ready?
Oh, yeah!
Strap yourselves in for the Gaming Hub. With your hosts, Tyler.
You can't handle the truth!
Graham.
The force is strong in this way.
And Steven.
You cannot be serious!
Let's get started.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Gaming Hub. This is episode number 146. I'm your host Tyler, saying thank you so much for joining us. And I'm here, as always, with our two co-hosts. Let's start with Graham. Graham, how are you this week?
I'm doing quite well. I have finally gotten through the cold weather. I'm sure at least you, Tyler, have witnessed some of this cold weather. But, oh yeah, for a while, I thought, which one silver lining would have been I would get a nice day off of work because, working all the time kind of sucks. Like, I know we get our weekends off, but it's always nice to get that weekday off. So I thought that was going to happen. It didn't happen. I went back to work. But such is life. How you doing, Steven?
I'm doing great. So this weekend I got to play and finish, actually it's by Monday. I finished Kingdom Hearts 3 though. Had a blast. I did finish it earlier than the time that they said that it would take. They said 35 hours. I think I did it in 24.
You're the best. We know.
Yeah, and it's because I'm an amazing player. No, it's because I kind of rushed the last two worlds because I could see and taste the finish line. And so I'm like, I figured the ending would be amazing. And I was not wrong. The last 4 or 5 hours was just awesome. It was a thrilling conclusion to a series that has a very clear story that is very easy to understand. And anyone who doesn't get it is a crazy person. Who just doesn't, pay attention. That's the only logical conclusion.
I got a Disney reference for you. If you're Pinocchio, your nose would be growing longer right now.
Yeah, no, you're wrong. Pinocchio hasn't been in the game since the first one. No, I really did have fun with that. I played a little Apex Legends. We'll talk about that later. It's so far my favorite Battle Royale that I'll never play again. And also, though, this past weekend, we got to do our first community event. We had a really, really good turnout for the first one. I was happy. We had up to 7 people at one time, 7 or 8 people, but we had a very steady group throughout the night. We played Halo Master Chief Collection. We played some Infection and some different versions of that. One where the zombies were completely invisible and it was just almost felt like a horror game. It was exactly like oh shoot. Oh my gosh. Not Bird Box, the good one. It was exactly like a Quiet Place, except it wasn't. And that's for the people that join us. They'll understand what that means. But we ended with some Cards Against Humanity, which I actually had a blast doing. It was a clone we on the internet. And I'd love to, if anyone's interested in that, I'd love to do that again another weekend coming up because it was so much fun. So if any of you guys are interested, join our Discord, Facebook, whatever. That's the easiest way to figure it out. I'll talk about that in intros and again and how to do that. But it was fun. I can't wait to do the next one. I don't know what the game will be yet. Where it's kind of whatever the community wants. But I hope we get a lot more of those in the future because it was a very, very fun night.
Yeah.
So Tyler, how about you? How are you doing?
I'm good, and I have a feeling I know what game they're going to want next time around. This little game that just came out this week that we're going to talk about. But yeah, I'm doing well. As I talked about the last couple shows, I've been getting ready to move, and that is never fun or easy. But got that done last Friday. Got up, got in the truck, and took off after the movers were done, and got all set up here over the weekend and early part of the week, and getting all the equipment set up to do the show. If you're listening to the audio version, it might seem like we're getting through intros quickly. It's because we've had practice tonight. This is our third attempt.
Somebody forgot to mention what games he played in the week. I'm not sure that was.
So I actually did get a chance to play something. I played some Kingdom Hearts 3, and I definitely have played more of it than I thought I would have at first. I have actually finished 3 of the worlds. What I'll say is it's more fun than I thought it was going to be. And I very much enjoyed the combat and the controls of the game. I think both those are quite good. The attractions and the combat are fun. The story, Steven, is just ridiculous and ludicrous and nonsensical and all of that stuff. It makes zero sense to anyone who hasn't played every second of every game ever, and I'm not even sure if it makes sense for them.
Well, to be fair, you could have watched the 20-minute recap of the other 11 games in the series and probably had a general understanding of the story. It's not that hard to understand the overarching plot. The problem is there's a lot of characters, and a lot of those characters have the same name or very similar names.
Oh, yeah. That confuses the crap out of me. Sometimes when I'm reading books or watching a movie, it's why do they have to give them the same name pretty much? Just a little bit different, little bit of an accent or something.
To be honest with you, if I don't know if I would have been able to understand Game of Thrones, the Song of Ice and Fire, if I didn't watch the first season of Game of Thrones first, because then I could picture the characters, and then it made reading them very easy. Yeah, when there's a book with 30 characters and they're all very important, it's very hard to understand who did what.
And remember, yeah.
So I agree. And that is Kingdom Hearts' fault. But the story is not really that bad. I mean,
yes, it is.
It's Pulitzer Prize winning, Tyler. It's ridiculous.
It's awful, but the gameplay's good. It's fun, and the worlds, they do a good job putting them together, and they are fun to play in. So definitely better than I thought it was going to be. So if you're out there and you're not like Steven, you're not a super fanboy of the game, and you're just on the fence, I can tell you, I never would have played it if I didn't get it through game sharing. And, I can't say I'm super happy I played it, but I definitely didn't play it for 30 minutes and say, all right, that's enough. So
okay, so if Steven can get you play that game, I'll even... Well, I say buy it free, but then I have to buy the system, so probably going to withdraw that statement. But you should play Ocarina of Time. So I might buy you a Nintendo 64 and the... Hey, I own one. Why don't I send it to you and let you use it?
Why you played on the 3DS?
Well, I can buy him a 3DS.
But you had one.
No, I don't.
No, you don't.
I thought you did.
No.
Oh. Don't you ever listen to us, Steven?
No, I tune you out. I only listen to myself.
Okay. So if Steven can get you play Kingdom Hearts 3, then I should get you to play that game.
If I get the opportunity to try it at some time, I will for you then.
If only Nintendo had a thing where you could play classical games on their
some sort of virtual console at some
Purple
point.
Rainbow Unicorn.
Yeah.
If only.
Well,
or just remaster the dang thing and throw it on the Switch, and I'd buy it. I'd buy it for the Switch.
Yeah.
All of them. But
yes.
Well, all right. But that's been my week. Steven, take us away.
Yeah. All right. So, as I alluded to, first, we are the official podcast of the Xbox Hub. Head on over to the xboxhub.com for all the latest and greatest in Xbox news, reviews, and everything else in the world of Xbox. Now, as I alluded to earlier, we'd love to have you come join our community for those awesome community play events. If any of those sounds fun, we'd love to have you come join us. The easiest way is to head over to Twitch at TXH Gaming Hub, and from there you can find links to Discord, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, everything. And you could also, but if you want to skip Twitch and go straight to Facebook, you can find us at the Gaming Hub forums, and from there you can just ask or look. I think it's pinned to get a link to Discord, and we'd love to have you come join there, because then you can find out about the community plays. You can argue with me over Kingdom Hearts and why Kingdom Hearts 3 is the greatest game of all time. You could do that, and you could be wrong. That will happen, but. There's other stuff. You could talk about Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, movies, TV, food, music, all of that. Whatever your heart desires. Within reason, there is one thing that is banned. Don't worry, there's no politics allowed in that page if you're worried about that. Finally, you can head on over to Twitter at TXH Gaming Hub and see all the wonderful things we tweet out.
All right, and if you'd like to support the show, we'd love to have you do that. There's a couple ways you can. So Steven mentioned Twitch earlier, TXH Gaming Hub on Twitch. If you're an Amazon Prime member, you get a free Twitch Prime sub to use every single month. And if you choose to spend that on us, we'd really appreciate it. It helps the show grow, helps us do better giveaways, helps us attend events where we can give you guys really unique, cool coverage, and all that sort of thing. Also, we have a Patreon page, patreon.com/gaminghub. And for as little as $2 a month there, you get exclusive content, take part in special things that we have going on there, all that sort of thing. For as little as $5 a month, you get entered into a Patreon-only giveaway that we do once a month for $60 in gift cards to the console of your choice. And that's for just as little as $5 a month. Also, once we hit 50 patrons, we'll be doing live video episodes of every show on Twitch. We want to make sure that we do it right, that we have the right equipment, right setup, a cool studio to use and all that type of thing. And at that 50 patron level, we'll be able to do that. So we don't want to do it unless it's going to be great. And there's plenty of shows out there that do like the 3 or 4 box thing where like one of them's in and out and disappearing and somebody's eating
a burrito,
or whatever. And yeah, we're not going to do that. So we want to do it right. Okay. But yeah, at 50 patrons, we will absolutely be doing that. And I know it's February, it's early, but E3 isn't far away, and we really want to go this year. And part of what's going to help us be able to go is that support through Twitch and Patreon. So if you've been thinking about it, you're on the fence about it, know that it goes back into the show, and it helps us provide better content for you, both in the audio podcast and with video, YouTube, things like that. So if you'd like to support us, we'd really appreciate that. Graham.
Yes, and the way you can listen to us, some people are listening to us right now live on Twitch, but when we're not live, you can download us, and there are many apps on your phones, smartphones, devices, probably PC, to download our podcast and listen to it. And I'm going to give you guys a couple other options in case you guys don't know it. One is an app called Radio Public app. Now, this is basically an app. It's free. It's on your store, so you can download it and you can search for our podcast or any other podcast. You might have other favorites, which you should be able to find on here as well. And it's just an easy way of finding your podcast, and it might be easier than the one you're using right now, so you can download that. And we do get a little monetary kickback from that. Not much, but every little bit helps, and we appreciate it. And another way is through a streaming service. Call it service, but it's a free service. And this is this is another app, and it's Dash Radio. So basically, it's kind of like satellite radio, but it's Dash Radio, obviously. And they have different stations and channels. And our podcast is on the channel called Multiplayer. So if you look that up, you'll find our podcast and other podcasts streaming. It's on a continuous rotation. So you can hear us and in other podcasts, and it's updated each week. So you can give that a try. And with whatever platform you're using, if you like what you're hearing and possibly seeing in the future, then you can write us a little review saying how well we're doing or what you enjoyed and stuff like that. And you can give us a 5-star rating. That 5-star rating helps us grow because other people see 5-star rating and they're like, this is 5 stars. I'm going to go check this out. And it's because you guys that they checked it out, and you're helping our community grow. So appreciate it, and thank you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and if you write a review for us and give us 5 stars, good chance we hear that review read on the show on the episode the following week. So if you write one, make sure to listen. You'll probably hear what you said read right here on the show. All right, guys, let's go into news.
In the news.
And, news broke on, I think it was Monday, right? And it started a huge uproar at first because Respawn revealed Apex Legends and released it on Monday. So after 2 days, they had 3.5 million unique players, 10 million players after 3 days. But this caused a lot of uproar because along with this came news that, or at least reports, that this was shelving Titanfall 3, which is true. And that it was going to, eliminate any Titanfall game that was coming this year. So since that's happened, Respawn's come out and said that, no, we're still going to offer something from Titanfall later in the year. They didn't really specify what it is. They kind of said something to the effect of, we look forward to exploring new things within that world. Now, we don't know what that means. But we know it's not going to be like Titanfall 3 proper. It's not going to be that. So, first of all, like, guys, what were your initial reactions to this? And I'll say, I'm a huge Titanfall fan. So, at first, I was like, you got to be kidding. Like, another Battle Royale game, first of all. So, it's more of what I don't want and less of what I really like. So, what were you guys' initial reactions? And, like, Steve, we'll go to you first because you actually played Apex Legends. I played a little bit tonight before we went live. But, you know, give me your initial thoughts and then your thoughts once you played it.
Yeah, I think it was leaked over the weekend. So it gave people extra time to complain. But honestly, my first thought was, another Battle Royale game. Like, I'm sure people like them. I mean, I know people like them based on the amount of people that play
sure?
them. You know, it's no Kingdom Hearts 3. I don't know what to say. But,
Maybe they'll do a Battle Royale.
well, let's hope not. or maybe, I don't know. No, like while playing it, it's really fun. I had more fun than Call of Duty. Like, honestly, Call of Duty's Battle Royale feels a bit janky, right? There's something off about it. I don't know if it's the frames per second or what, but it just felt weird. I only played a couple rounds. I don't like Fortnite. I'm glad I don't like Fortnite because it allows me to play other games, because if I did like Fortnite, I'd be one of those players that only plays Fortnite. And, you know, if you're one of those people, awesome. I was that way with Smite. I don't like being stuck to one game, because it means I feel like I miss a lot of other really good games because I only want to play that one game. And that was me with Smite. So I'm glad but with this game, it's really smooth, which is crazy because the game came out like without really being announced, and the game came out smooth. There were like very little issues, if any. I didn't hear of many. And then it came out, and a lot of people like loved it. And I've seen so many people on like Twitter and Facebook be like there's pictures of the first, like one tweet would be like, a new Battle Royale game, and then and they took over Titanfall, and then it's like, oh, this is awesome. And I had a lot of fun playing. I did say at the beginning, it's a great Battle Royale game that I'll never play, just because those that listen for a while know shooters are not my favorite. The scoreboard says I'm very good at them. Hint, hint, everyone who we played Halo with this weekend. But I don't know. I don't love playing them. So maybe if I have a couple of friends to play with that are good enough to help, to win, then I'd play. So if anyone from our community wants to get a squad going sometime in the near future, yeah. No, I'm not asking you to.
That sounded like me.
So Graham, you're the Fortnite aficionado.
Wow.
You play
Sure.
quite a bit of it, or at least a lot more than I do, and a lot more than Steven does. So,
By default, I guess.
You're not a big fan of like the building aspect of Fortnite and all that stuff. Is a game like this more appealing to you?
Absolutely, it is. I tried PUBG. I don't know why it didn't catch on, but I played a little bit of this, and this game looks like it'd be my choice of Battle Royale games, even over Fortnite, even if I'm a aficionado, like you said. So yeah, I played a little bit. The mechanics, because like Tyler, you talked about how Titanfall 2 had some of the best shooting mechanics that
I loved it.
Yeah, you loved it. So when I played it, I could see that it's carried over into this. I liked how the tutorial was. I didn't get too deep into the actual game, but it felt really smooth. I didn't do really well, but that was no fault of the game. That is my own fault. Basically, if it's a new game too, I kind of don't want to wait around, so I'll run out in the open and run around and just see what's going on. But yeah, and numbers don't lie. You could see that everyone is really enjoying this game, and it seems like it's potential competition for Fortnite. It's not going to blow it out of the water right away, but it might. I'm sure a lot of people have flocked to this game now and left Fortnite behind, whether they're getting tired of it or they're just waiting for something better to come along, which seems to be this could be it. So I'm curious to see how like, I wonder if the fact that Fortnite done so well and it was a free game, then they made this game free. Like, do you think at one point they were planning on, like, trying to make money off this, or you think they're going to try to make money off of microtransactions?
Oh, yeah.
And
There's going to be
like
microtransactions in this game. I'd be shocked if there isn't, if there aren't at some point.
But I think it's going to be like Fortnite, where they're done well, where people actually want to buy them to support the game rather than feel like they have to compete. Now, I know some characters are locked behind not necessarily a paywall, but behind a, like, you have to earn the credits to buy them, or you could pay the money to unlock them. Now, if they start announcing new characters that are, like, overpowered and would beat the crap out of all the other characters, then I can see people complaining and have a point. But I feel like it's going to be a lot of, like, skins, a lot of customization for the characters, same way Fortnite does. And I think Fortnite does microtransactions very well, and they make a crap ton of money on it. And I think that's kind of what Respawn might be going for here, where their microtransactions are something people want to pay rather than something they feel like they have to pay.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, there's a question I want to ask next, and I think it ties in really well to kind of the third news story we want to talk about. So I'm actually going to bump that up, if you guys don't mind. But EA just had their call for their quarterly, results call for investors, and they reported a, quote, difficult past quarter, which they attributed to Battlefield 5 underperforming in sales. And they attributed Battlefield 5 underperforming to the game not having Battle Royale, the what's called Firestorm Battle Royale mode at launch. So this brings me to the question: why in the world does EA continue to compete with itself? Because this, Apex Legends looks and plays just like Titanfall, minus the Titans.
Mm-hmm. And
I didn't play much of it tonight, and I loved what I played. It's fun. The game feels good to play. It's really well done, from what I can tell so far. But if EA is convinced that Battlefield 5 didn't perform well because Firestorm wasn't out yet, and they see it turning back around because Firestorm's coming out, why in the world would you release Apex Legends right now?
Yeah.
Like weeks away from Battlefield 5's, mode coming out. So now you're saying to people, you can play an awesome Battle Royale game for free, or you can go play one on Battlefield 5, which, you'll probably be able to catch on sale for like, $40, $50, but you still got to pay for it. And, on top of that, you get the other online modes and all that stuff and whatnot. But you get, with Apex Legends, you get a great Battle Royale mode or game for free. Why do they keep doing this to themselves? Because they did this with Titanfall 2. This was what buried Titanfall 2. They released it like a week before Battlefield 1, and it got crushed. And then they called the game, like, underperforming and a disappointment. Well, no, you're the disappointment, EA.
Yeah, you're the one causing it, for sure.
Yeah, you didn't give the game a chance. So, what do you guys think about that? Whoever wants to go first.
Steven?
Well, I have something, but Graham, I want your thoughts first before I go.
You want my thoughts first?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you bring up a really good point there, Tyler. It really makes no sense. Like, why would you release... Like, even, like, you're releasing Firestorm, which is specifically only Battle Royale, and Apex Legends is specifically only Battle Royale. So, I really don't know, and I don't know how much longer should they have waited for Apex Legends, because if there is going to be, say, a Titanfall 3... Like, I guess essentially they could have just released Firestorm, and then later when they release Titanfall 3, they could release Apex Legends mode or whatever with it at that time. So I don't know if this is the reason why maybe Titanfall 3 isn't coming out this year, and they had Apex Legends that was going to go with it, and then they released it, but why wouldn't they release that later? So really, I don't know what they were thinking, and... maybe they weren't thinking, because clearly it seems like that's a bad idea. And if we can tell, I'm sure there's other people who be like, okay, we got to let them know that this is a bad idea. or do they like, we'll just make money off microtransactions? So I don't know. What do you think, Steven? I know
So
you have an opinion.
there's two things at play here, in my opinion. One is EA doesn't care because they're going to make the money either way, because they both kind of are the overshoot, or like they own both companies. Actually, I think EA might make Battlefield itself, but they own Respawn, right? So, or at least publish for them. I forget the exact rules. So it could be that. Another thing is they know, I think, that even with Firestorm coming out, they're not going to get the sales for Battlefield 5. Like, I don't think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to purchase Battlefield 5 just for Battle Royale. Like, they're going to buy it no matter what. Now, maybe they're right, and the game would have been a little more successful had Firestorm been released on day one with the game. I thought that was a mistake when it happened, because Call of Duty had its Battle Royale right away, and it was just easy to see that Battlefield was going to crush that. Call of Duty. And Call of Duty looked like the better game to begin with. Like, Tyler, you bought Battlefield, but I don't think we played. I haven't played a match in a game share with you, and I don't know if you played a match.
No, I mean, I've only played like 5 though.
Yeah, we played 1 or 2 in the beta, or in the beta.
Yeah, I'm not counting that, but I'm saying since
that
release.
was the only Battlefield 5 I played.
Mm-hmm.
You might have played more, and you said you did five matches, but that's nothing.
Yeah.
And so, but how if I'm EA, like, and I have the opportunity for a free game that, like, anyone with half a brain that can see patterns knows this game's gonna, like, if it's good, it's going to rake in money with microtransactions. And by all accounts, so far it's good. I know they're reviewing it. There are a lot of companies or a lot of the gaming sites are going to review it. I think IGN's reviewing it right now. I imagine most of the big sites will be reviewing it. I'm curious what the scores will be. Does anyone know off the top of their head what Fortnite was? I want to say it was in the 9s. I think this one might be as good or not, if not better. And it's free, and it's a little more hardcore for the shooters. I think this game is going to be massively successful. So if I'm EA and, like, I want to make money, why would I hold this when I don't think Firestorm is going to bring people back into Battlefield? I could be wrong, but I don't think it's going to happen. So I absolutely would have released this when it did. And it's funny because you said, real quick, I've been going long here. Titanfall got crushed by Battlefield when Titanfall 2 came out, right? But this time it's going to be Titanfall or Respawn that's going to crush Battlefield. Yeah. And that's kind of funny.
Yeah, it is. But here's my thing. So, I mean, let's be honest. I think everybody knows this. There's one thing that EA cares about above all, right? And that's
the
money.
almighty dollar.
And but you know, though, that's true for every publisher. Let's be honest about that. No, there's no game publisher out there that's like, oh, you know, it doesn't matter if we take a loss on it. We're just doing this for our, you know, artistic, you know, to feel good about it. It's for the fans. And they all say that, sure. They're all full of crap. They want to make money. And let me just finish my point real quick, Steven. But, so, here's my thing, though. EA wants to maximize, or at least minimize, the loss or the damage they're going to take on Battlefield 5, whether it's public perception of the game, or the game not necessarily not making money, but not hitting the sales figures that they had projected for the game. If they were going to pick up any additional sales because of Firestorm, they're not anymore. True. Or at least not nearly as many. Because here's a game that isn't sort of... Like, you look at Fortnite, and... You know, it's really fun, it's really well done, but it looks like more of a kid's game, right? When you just look at it. This game is, you know, when you talk about your Call of Duty, Battle Royale, PUBG, and Apex, they are the more realistic, serious, sort of gritty shooters, you know. And same with Battlefield 5's Firestorm, but one's free and the others are not. And by the way, the one that's free has a ton of hype around it, you know, literally immediately after it came out. And not hype from the developer, but hype from people that played it and are saying this thing's amazing.
Yeah, there's already kids at the school I work at that have been playing this, and loving it. Same kids that played Fortnite and when that game blew up. And this, while this does look more realistic and like quote unquote gritty, there's still, at least I didn't see any blood when I got shot. Like it's still, at least the killing part of it is like kid friendly, I guess. That seems
and that's never
wrong,
been in
but you get the
Titanfall
point
anyway.
of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But-
No, I'm not saying it's like, watching the opening of Saving Private Ryan or anything.
Yeah, you're not gonna see.
No.
There, but,
I mean, Titanfall's never had any of that anyway.
Yeah,
But it's got more of the earth tones, and the the graphics are a little better, and it just looks a little more.
it does look very clean.
Yes.
Now, like, did EA do this though, knowing that it might kill any chance of Firestorm reviving Battlefield? Because that they knew that if this game got held, right, and it comes out, I don't know, in July, right, to same success, but then we find out that like they held this game so they could get more sales from Battlefield. Can you imagine the? I'm trying to word this friendly, like Crapstorm. Substitute your word in. That EA would be facing. Like people would be very upset.
Well,
Like,
here's the thing: people are going to make EA to be the villain, no matter what they do. So at least do what makes you the most money.
yeah, and I think this is the way. I think this is.
And you might be right. So.
Because what else does EA have like right now coming out? Like we have Firestorm, right? But then they don't really have anything until the end of the year, right?
Well, no, they got that little Anthem game coming out
oh shit!
in a couple weeks.
No big deal.
Yeah,
No big deal.
it's one of those EA Originals things, It's like an indie game.
How could I forget?
It's an indie title.
Sometimes I forget how big EA. I always think sports games and like Battlefield. I always forget about that. There are other that they own BioWare. Do you think they think that Anthem's not going to be successful, and that's why they kind of put this out right now?
No, I think they're banking on Anthem being hugely successful, and
Yeah.
and actually, let's talk about this because we're talking about the EA investor call as a whole here, and we're just talking about Battle Royales as part of that. But like, how smart is EA? So somebody in Twitch chat said I low-key work for EA. No, I don't. I have plenty of things that I'm actually bashing on EA right now. I'm saying that they're being dumb, but anyway,
There goes your job.
yeah. I mean, and if players want to convince themselves that these studios are out there just for the fans, like when PlayStation was like for the players, no, they're not. They're for the investors and they're for the shareholders, and just like all the rest of them are. And that's okay. I'm all right with that because I still get good products that I enjoy and play. But anyway. Is it smart of EA, though, to get, looking at it now, to get Anthem out when they are in February, like a month and a half ahead, or at least a month ahead of the Division 2, because which game has more steam behind it right now in public perception? Like, it's not even close. Like, the Division 2 has a lot of hype around it right now from players, and the beta just started today, and I can't wait to jump in and play it. But the Division 2, from a lot of people, is getting a lot of praise, and you're really not hearing all that much about Anthem. So is it going to save that game, do you guys think, to get it out first and get those sales from people who are just dying for something new to play coming out of the holidays?
Yes.
I agree.
Oh, yeah,
Especially with how early, like how big, there's kind of a big gap between the two. Like in video game time, I mean.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So
I mean, a month to, I think it's basically like a month, isn't it? Between the two? I don't remember exactly, but that's a long time. Especially when you look at how many games are coming out in this window that's starting basically this next week. So, yeah, I mean, I think they're going to save that game because I still think Anthem's going to come out. What are you guys' score predictions for Anthem? So, out of 10, what do you guys think is going to be the average? Or actually, no, it's gone of 100. What do you think the Metacritic's going to be for Anthem?
82.
I'm gonna go with 85.
I'm going to go 79. Wow,
I'm
Steven,
the
I'm the pessimist here. Well, Graham's supposed to be the optimist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Graham played his role correctly.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Okay, 72, 65.
Yeah.
55 is gonna be garbage.
But no, I could easily see it being, and I can see them saying like, what gameplay there is pretty fun, but the end game doesn't offer a lot. I'm not saying that declaratively. I'm saying like this is what I can kind of see coming, with a game like this for a first crack at it.
It could be a 75, and then by like this point next year, or at least by the holiday season, be up to it realistically be closer to like the 85, 90 range. But by that point, it might be too late, especially if the Division comes out and actually is successful in their second iteration, unlike Destiny 2's vanilla start, which was
yeah.
But
yeah, I think and EA relies on their sports titles. You mentioned them, Steven, to make them a crap ton of money with Ultimate Team, and they're trying to find ways to incorporate microtransactions into everything. And they face a lot of backlash for that. So I think you're right on Respawn here. They made a Battle Royale game. They did it right. And if you put in things that do not impact the game, you're going to be able to make quite a bit of money off of microtransactions for cosmetic items just because people want to support the game.
Yep.
So
I'm interested to see if there'll be a battle pass. Like Fortnite, because I know PUBG had one, Fortnite has one, and I imagine Apex Legends will get one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would imagine too.
All right. Graham, you're a huge Nintendo fan. That's no secret.
Guilty.
So, Nintendo rolled out their super amazing Nintendo Switch Online last year.
Super amazing, which, let me note that Super Mario 2 is now added on to that.
Well, congratulations.
Which is an odd game.
For all the 7 people that own Nintendo Online, there you go.
Graham, we should get on after the show and play that and get in Nintendo Party Chat and talk about it while we're playing.
Shots fired. Yeah, so I'll have my cell phone fully charged, will you?
So, Graham, here's the thing. Nintendo Switch Online is like when the parents go out of town, they leave the kids in charge, and every parent's like, oh, my kids are super responsible. And they come home and it's a disaster. Well, Graham, now the grown-ups are coming to save the day.
Yay. I'm just going to go to my room and play.
Because Xbox Live is coming to Nintendo Switch, iOS, and Android. Now, we don't know how far this is going to go yet.
Yes.
What we do know is that it's going to have friends lists, achievements, and clubs. We know those 3 things for sure.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any chance that we're going to see integration of Xbox Live Party Chat? Because I think that's a game changer if that's in there. And you can do it on the phone, like through the Xbox app. That's not that hard to do, right?
That's true.
So what if you can do messaging through it and somehow integrate your friends from Switch with your friends from Xbox and do it that way? And it's going to mean a ton for all your crossplay games.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So what are you hoping to see from this? Because I think we all agree, in our opinion, that Xbox Live is the best online service out there on console right now.
Well, us 3 agree. I know a lot of PlayStation fans that disagree, and I think
that's
they're
fine.
Very wrong. At least it used Xbox Live crushed PlayStation last gen and early this gen. I think PlayStation has fixed it and gotten better, but I still prefer Xbox's whole thing.
Yeah, people are allowed to be wrong.
Yeah,
you can't be right all the time.
It's true. I'm never wrong though. Never.
What do I expect out of this? When I first read this, and probably when a lot of people read this or heard this, or if they're hearing this for the first time, they're like, oh man, it's everything. Whatever's on all my Nintendo or my Xbox library, I can play on my Nintendo Switch. I don't think that's happening. I think they're basically going to have like crossplay with certain games. They'll probably add some games to the list that will be crossplay. I'm thinking your achievements because I think with Minecraft now, when you unlock achievements on the Nintendo Switch, they pop on your Xbox. So I think maybe some achievements will be unlocked with certain games on your Nintendo Switch. So I really don't know exactly to what form it is going to appear on there. The party chat, if it actually enables the party chat and makes it a lot easier, and by a lot easier, I mean anything is pretty much easier, that will be a welcome change. And also, like, it's going to be on iOS and Android. So I'm guessing it's just going to be the same kind of thing where maybe you can access your achievements. Certain games, you can unlock your achievements in either system and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I am very, very, very curious to see the next, like, I don't know if it's going to be on a Nintendo Direct. You think this would be more of an Xbox thing?
Well, they did just have it inside Xbox, and all this news came from like the outline of what they're going to talk about at GDC next month.
Next
So
month.
I'm guessing next month we'll hear a ton more about it. But Steven, I want to ask you this: like, I don't think this is going to happen, but let's say that eventually you can start to unlock achievements for Switch games. And that adds to your Xbox score. And let's say that Xbox Party Chat is part of this and all that. And again, I'm going to preface this by saying I don't think this is going to happen. But Steven, what do you think the chances are that we're seeing the very, very early stages to what eventually becomes a merger?
This does feel like that. I was thinking the exact same thing. So I'm glad you asked that. Because it does kind of feel like that. It just seems weird if without that as the like logical conclusion, right? There's no real other reason for this unless Nintendo just gave up on creating an online service and was like, hey, Xbox, and Xbox I'm sure was happy to do this because they get ahead of this over PlayStation. And I think most people are probably in agreement that the Switch doesn't really compete with the Xbox and PlayStation. It's its own thing. And like people want one, but they don't get a Switch over the other ones. So it's like Xbox competes with PlayStation. There are people that are only ever going to get the Switch. But I think a lot of Xbox and PlayStation users like to have the Switch as their second console instead of the other one.
Oh, yeah.
So Xbox going in on this is very smart. Sony's probably kicking themselves because
no, they're not.
They're not because I still feel Sony is being
arrogant.
Yes, they're not looking forward. It's almost like they're not paying attention to what Xbox is doing. It does kind of feel that way, right?
Yeah.
Like I just feel like they're setting up for where Xbox comes back and has a much better next gen than PlayStation does, because PlayStation kind of rests on their laurels, and Microsoft's already done a lot of new things that are great for the consumers, and the only reason they're not more successful is because they still have like no good games to play that are triple or like exclusives. As soon as they get that, oof.
Imagine a console with the technology of what Microsoft can bring with the Xbox, like the Xbox One X, or what's going to be the next iteration of that in next gen, combined with the innovation of Nintendo and the game libraries from both.
Yeah,
man, I don't know.
Potential is huge.
Yeah. And keep in mind, everybody that's listening, like, we don't think this is going to happen. But it did, like, Steven, it kind of, the Spidey sense sort of went off, and I was just like,
yep.
Man, all the stuff they're doing, and they're getting along so well right now. They're like best friends. And you almost wonder if this is like the building block to eventually seeing a merger between these two. And I think that, what you said about the arrogance, like, I agree 100%. I think we're seeing exactly what happened at the end of last gen, just roles reversed.
Yep.
Like, Xbox got super arrogant. They did a lot of stupid stuff. They tried to force the original Kinect and then the Kinect 2, onto everybody, to the point of making it, like, mandatory in-box for the Xbox One, which was just, that crushed them from the beginning, along with some other bad decisions they made. But
And I know
Sony can't like get too confident in saying that, oh, we won, we have such a huge fan base, we're not going to lose them. Well, Xbox did last gen and they lost them.
Yep.
So it can happen. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, it's a good thing though for like us as gamers when the companies switch, because it means that things get, oh, what's the word? Like advanced, right? We get new and better systems. If one just dominates, they'll never they gotta push each other so we get cool like innovative things like VR and PlayStation and like Game Pass, for instance, and just all the games like you're competing against each other. It's great. And I know we're getting off topic because this is about Nintendo,
Right.
but that's a good thing. I'll leave it at that. Like it's a good
you're
thing
right.
to switch.
You're right. I mean, and you know, there's no doubt about which console has been most successful this generation. That has been Sony, hands down. They deserve it. The PS4 is great, and the game library has been fantastic. So, you know, congrats to them. But there's also no doubt in my mind, anyway, which console has done the most innovation and improvement over the course of the generation, and that's Xbox.
Yes.
They have tried new things. They've listened to their fans. They've added features that the community wants. They've made it a better system. It's a so far superior system today than what it was a little over 5 years ago. And I think they're going to be set up better to take off for next gen than Sony is currently in every way outside of just the install base that they have. So, Graham, any thoughts to wrap that up and maybe tie it back to Nintendo?
It's great. It's good to see. I don't really have much to say. I'm just looking forward to more being revealed. We can speculate. In a perfect world, all that stuff would be amazing, but will we see that? I don't know, but I'm definitely looking forward to.
Well, the last thing I'm going to say on this, and then we'll move on to our last story, but the fact that they're getting the Xbox Live, technology into the hands of how many millions of people.
Oh, yes.
Between iOS and Android. Like, those are the two biggest by far. I mean, we're a console gaming show, so we're talking about Switch here, right? But you think about all the iOS and Android users are now going to have that available to them. That's huge. And that's name recognition. That's, getting people comfortable with that platform. So, and this is also, we didn't say it, but this is a setup for the xCloud service too. Like, I absolutely think that as well.
Yeah,
where you can play on tablets and all that stuff. Like, this is also part of that rollout, I think.
That does make sense, for sure.
Yeah. So what if you can do xCloud on Switch? What if you can play Xbox games on your Switch? That'd be pretty awesome.
That would be pretty awesome. And then I would probably play my Switch more because some games that I want to play I only have on Xbox. So if I can play certain games like on my couch or driving in a car or something like that, then there's a good chance I will.
All of a sudden, Xbox has a built-in portable console.
Yeah. No, it's good for both parties, for sure.
Yep. All right. Let's go to our last story. We're going to talk PlayStation here. So, rumor came out this week that PlayStation is going to have backwards compatibility for the PlayStation 5. And a lot of people are, like, patting them on the back and saying, yeah, good job.
Listen. Yeah, no, for sure.
So, first of all, good for them for actually listening to their fan base and saying, yeah, we should probably do this. But I'm going to stop short of giving them a ton of credit for this because they should have done this a while ago. What do you guys think?
A long time ago. Oh, 100%. How many times we talked about that it needs to have this? And we thought the PS4 was going to have it. Nope, not a chance. So, to me, it makes all the sense in the world. Now, this is just rumored because they patent for it, but that doesn't mean that it's official. That means they just have the rights to it if they decide to do this. Because they have their streaming service, so are they just going to do PS4 and PS5, or are they going to do way back? Me, personally, if they do it, I think they're only going to do PS4. I think they're still going to have their streaming service and stuff like that. Like, I don't know how much money they're actually making from that.
Yeah, that's a good call, Graham.
If they're making decent money, then there's really no reason why they would stop that service. So that's what I'm thinking. I think it's just going to be between PS4 and PS5. And like even because say The Last of Us 2, some people think that's going to be between the two consoles. So that will be one where you could buy it on there and you can play it on the PS5.
Mm-hmm. Steven,
That's
thoughts?
Yeah, they definitely need backwards compatibility. Like, I don't like having 15 consoles. I know some people don't mind, but I hate it. I have 3 and that's almost too much. I don't want my Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and then my Xbox, whatever the next one's called, PS5, and Nintendo Switch 2, because I want to play everything. Okay, I like backwards compatibility. They haven't had it since PlayStation 3, like the fat console, and like one of the very first ones.
Yeah.
And I remember I got that one way late, and for Christmas I asked for it just so I could play Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2 because they weren't remastered at the time. So yeah,
Graham,
gotta bring
Graham,
back
like you said, I mean, they are just filing, it's for the patent and the trademark right now and all that stuff. And as we learned, Steven, this week, trademarks are important. We learned that from seeing what happened to the Big Mac in Europe.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
So McDonald's didn't have a trademark, so now what was it, Burger King in Europe is trolling him and advertising Big Macs, like actual Big Macs in their store, like it's actually big. But yeah, so all right, that does it for news, everybody, and let's go ahead and head into releases. We'll start with Xbox as always, where you can get Descent on the 12th, Metro Exodus on the 15th, and Crackdown 3. I know everybody's really excited for that.
Some people are. Some people are.
So, some people are. It's just kind of sad to see the early feedback coming back and not be good.
At least it's on Game Pass. That's the only way that I will play it.
At least it's on Game Pass, but it's available on the 15th of February as well. Games with Gold, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon through the 28th of February, WRC 6 through the 15th, only a few more days to pick that up, and through backwards compatibility, Assassin's Creed Rogue through the 15th, so just a few more days for that as well. Steven, what can we get on PlayStation?
All right, so on the 8th, tomorrow, you can get God Eater 3. On the 12th, you can get Jump Force. And then on the 15th, you can get Far Cry New Dawn. PS Plus games. This is the last month you can get Vita and PlayStation 3 games in PS Plus. Starting next month, it's only PlayStation 4 games. But for this month, you can get For Honor and Hitman Season 1 on the PS4. And I'm going to throw a PS3 game in there because it's pretty good. You can get Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots. But unfortunately, that's only on PlayStation 3, as we've talked about. No backwards compatibility. But if you still have your PS3 and you don't have that game, you can get it. All right, Graham, what about Nintendo?
Okay, so for Nintendo releases, on the 12th of February, you can get Minesweeper Genius. Now, if you guys remember Minesweeper from PCs, great game, great time killer. Then another great time killer and a great title as well. On February the 14th, you can get Ollie Ollie Switch Stance. I like the little play on words. If you guys are into skateboarding, you understand it. If not, well, you don't understand it. And also on the 14th, you can get Space War Arena. And that is your Switch titles.
All right, Steve, what do we have for questions this week?
All right,
Man.
questions. First one. Wretched Eel said, with the Division 2 beta revealing so much content available at launch, is Anthem doomed to fail? With 10 plus hours of story content alone, has the Division 2 raised the bar for what we'll expect from betas/demos moving forward?
Okay, so I'll go first, and I'm going to contradict myself from earlier in the show. Because I feel like this is one of those things where these two games are just being compared to each other all the time. It's kind of like, Graham, excuse me, you've done this with movies like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter. They came out around the same time, so it's like one or the other. And people do it. Now it's like Star Wars or Marvel, which one's better? And it always has to be competition between the two.
No, it's true.
The only reason that these two are being compared to each other, like, so intensely is because they're coming out within, a month of each other.
Yeah.
And they're a shared open world shooter.
Yeah, that too. But they're very different types of environments and all that type of thing. I think that probably a more fair comparison to Anthem is going to be Destiny, and the Division I never thought was that much like Destiny. I thought the first Division didn't like it for its own reasons, not because it didn't live up to another game for me. Now, that said, most people are going to compare the two to each other, so let's do that. I think Anthem's in trouble. I think Anthem needs to have a really smooth, solid launch, and I don't see them having that. I see them having server issues on day one. I see it being a problem, and that's going to turn some people off. Whether that's valid or not is a whole other argument, and we can have it another time. But I think Anthem's in trouble because everything about Division 2 looks great right now. It looks like they've learned from a lot of their mistakes from the first one, and I think Anthem has something to worry about here. Steven?
Anthem has well, I don't know the exact amount of days, but it has right up until the Division 2 comes out to fix itself if there's any issues, and really probably like a week before. So you get 3 weeks basically to make sure you're to fix any issues and make the game awesome. That's assuming Division 2 is smooth. I have yet to play the beta. To answer the second part of the question, 10 plus hours of story content in a beta to me is ridiculous. I don't want to play 10 hours of story just to play 10 hours more again for this. Now, if it was for a game, I mean, now I feel like I'm beating the dead horse. But for Kingdom Hearts 3, I would have played 10 hours and then, played it again when the game come out. But it's very special cases like that. And Division 2 is not that special case. And it just seems silly that there's 10 plus hours of story content. Give me 1 or 2 missions, I'll do it, and then I'm done. Right? And if there's some endgame stuff, I'd actually do an endgame raid or whatever they call it, strike. I'm just comparing Destiny, but just so you guys can picture what I'm talking about. I do that, but I don't want to replay 10 hours of story when the game comes out less than a month, maybe 2. It's definitely less than 2 months away. So that's where I'm at. And yeah, what about you, Graham?
Graham's got both these pre-ordered.
Yeah. Ultimate editions of both.
So, no, I agree. 10 plus hours is ridiculous. For the most part, I don't think many people will finish that many hours. Some will. Some is okay with repeating those hours. So there's nothing wrong with having more content. Just because it's a 10 plus hour beta, that don't mean I got to play all those hours. I'll play it until I feel like I've played enough. But personally, I do not want to play 10 plus hours just to do it over again.
Exactly, yep.
So, but it's great the option is there and all that stuff. And I know we're talking about they're both compared, but for a lot of people, they can't afford to buy all these games when they come out right away. So if somebody's asking me, okay, I have a choice between Anthem and Division 2, which one am I going to get? Well, if you play Division 1, you basically know what style of game you're going to get, what it's all about, and all that stuff. Anthem is a new IP. It's a new experience. It's got javelin suits, some really cool ones. So I think for that reason, there is enough variety to shift people towards just Anthem over the two if they can't decide between the two.
Yeah.
And people obviously who really enjoyed Division 1, hands down, they're all in on Division 2. But I don't think should count out Anthem just because it does.
I'm not counting it out.
Offer other stuff like that, but I wouldn't say it's doomed. So it's some healthy competition. If I had to choose between the two, I'd say, okay, you can only play one, and you'll never get to play the other one. I would choose Anthem just because it's a different experience. I've done Division 1. I was disappointed in Division 1 for reasons I already said. So I think for that reason, it being a new IP, I think it'll be fine. And it's from BioWare, and they say this is the A team that made the original Mass Effect trilogy, which I absolutely loved. So I can't see them being a total bust after putting out such great games.
Mhm.
That's my answer.
All right.
All right,
Steven,
next
what's
question. Mr. Jonas Blaine says, do you predict The Last of Us 2 to be the PS4 swan song, PS5 launch, or both? I'll go first here.
Yeah, go for it.
It's going to be both. It's going to be the swan song, and then it's going to come out remastered on PS5.
Yeah, exactly. Exact same thing. It'll be the swan song. It'll come out probably late spring, early summer on next year, and then I see like Steven probably like early spring the year after as a remaster.
Yeah, it won't be like a
Yeah.
launch title, but it'll be in that
No.
launch window. They say. I hate that.
I know
That's
because launch window is 6 months. So yeah. I
Yeah,
don't know how
no.
they consider it 6 months, but anyway, Graham.
Yeah, I agree with you both. We're all on the same agreement. It's going to be like it was for the PS3 and PS4, because I'm sure it was highly successful for that reason, and they're like, let's repeat it. Like, there's no reason.
Yeah.
And hopefully it is backwards compatible, the PS5 with PS4, and the copy that you own on PS4, you'll play on PS5.
I bet you though, if they're planning a remaster of it, it won't be.
Yeah.
But if it's backwards compatible, then you should be able to play the
Yeah,
PS4
but not
one.
every
True.
game is backwards compatible on the Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, it remains to be seen whether or not it'll even have backwards compatibility. So,
Yeah.
All right.
anyway, let's do one more.
Last question. Very tough question. When you cut a sandwich from Gambler, when you cut a sandwich in half, do you do triangles or squares?
Okay, let's go to Graham first on this one.
For me, it's triangles. Not only do they look cool because they're triangles, which is the strongest shape.
What?
What's that?
Nothing.
Eating it makes more sense. Like, especially for some people, they're out there, especially younger people. They do not eat crust because they think it will kill them or something. I don't know. That way, you're eating the sandwich. You're not getting it all over your face if you're avoiding the crust, unless you tear it in half, which nobody butchers sandwiches like that. So yeah, for me, it's triangles all the way.
All right, Steven?
I still want a clarification on why you say triangles are the strongest shape.
Let's not. Let's just leave that as it
No.
is.
Circles are the best shape. They're infinite.
Okay.
They don't have an endpoint.
Yes.
That's the coolest part. Also, pie. Come on.
Yeah, and the wheel's very old.
Yeah, I'm a math major here, and Graham, that was ridiculous. Come
All
on.
right,
Come on.
Whatever.
Well, first of all, I'm not a child, so I don't cut my sandwiches for the most part. I do cut them like last year when I'd make a sandwich for class, and like I knew I'd have to eat while I was walking. I did cut it into triangles, and I found it was easier to eat than like in the than when you cut it into rectangles, because when you cut a piece of bread, you don't end up with a square. But that's beside the point. By the way, some reason this is an argument. You cut in the little like indent in the top of the crust, right? You don't cut across and leave like parallel to the bottom. Like you cut vertically, not horizontally. I don't know why that's a thing that like people do when they cut who cuts crust horizontally? You end up with two sandwiches that are not symmetric, and that is just
half.
ridiculous. Actually, when you cut triangles, they're not symmetric either. So really, cutting down the middle if you want symmetry, it's the best.
Symmetry.
Let's go into the geometry of
tastes
sandwich
better.
cutting here.
Let's not. But all right, so I'll give my answer, and then I have a quick follow-up question for you guys. So first, I don't cut the sandwich at all if it's a cold sandwich, just like turkey sandwich or something like that. If it's like a hot sandwich from a restaurant, then triangle cut. Something that's a little like thicker top to bottom, like triangle cut for that. With
grilled
cheese
cheese
in it, yeah. So all right, so follow-up question. How do you guys eat your sandwiches? And I got this, somebody in Twitch mentioned crust first game. So, like, I'll be honest, like, when I eat sandwiches, I eat around the crust first and then into the middle. I leave the bottom crust on. But, yeah. How do you guys eat sandwiches?
Well, it depends how it's cut. If it's
Well, let's say it's not cut at all.
If it's not cut at all, I don't eat all around and get all the crust first, because
you guys
that just seems weird. It seems like you're butchering your sandwich. You
guys are insane.
You eat it normal.
Stuff falls off.
Yeah, exactly. And like then it's easier to fall apart because it's kind of like a foundation. Your crust, like it's more solid. So yeah, I just work my way through it. If crust is in the way, like I eat crust and the middle at the same time till it's all gone.
Yeah.
So Steven, like... do you eat your sandwich with a fork?
Yeah, I do. Fight me, fight me, guys. No, I'm not.
Just like his pizza.
I love how the guy like that's being the most critical right now is the guy who eats pizza with a fork.
I don't eat pizza with a fork. I have eaten pizza.
We have a recording of you saying you do.
I said I have done it. If I'm trying to eat while playing, I will use a fork so I can continue playing without worrying about grease on my controllers. You filthy freaking animals. You're welcome. You're getting me all fired up here, and I just watched my mouth for you. You filthy animals getting grease on your controllers. It's disgusting, and it's freaking embarrassing. Bonus points to whoever gets that right. But to answer your follow-up question, you eat in the indented side of the bread. You start from the top right, or like if you're
wow.
You start on the right side of the sandwich, and then you eat like across, and then you go back across, and you do it that way. You don't eat the crust first.
You're like not mowing your lawn. You're eating a sandwich.
Yeah, that's how you eat it. Well, actually, that's not true. You don't go back and forth. You eat whichever side is going to put the most sandwich in your mouth without getting any sauce on your sides of your lips, like in that weird like gap in your mouth. Okay. And
you're very passionate about this.
I am very.
Well, you guys are misrepresenting what I said, because you guys are all on the fork pizza thing, but you animals getting your controllers all greasy. I don't want to touch a greasy controller. That's gross. Who wants a greasy controller? That's disgusting.
You bring your own controller. Have mine.
Graham, I just picture him like with a bag of Cheetos, like with a fork, just like one Cheeto at a time on the fork.
First of all, there's no freaking way I'm eating Cheetos while playing video games. Not getting Cheeto dust. I'm like, you guys are animals. Animals of the lot of you.
All right.
I get a bib out, man. Come on.
That does it for questions this week. Thanks, everybody, for sending them in. And if yours wasn't right on the show, good chance we'll get to it next week. Or we do mailbag episodes for patrons where we get caught up on questions that we didn't get to on the show. So let's wrap this up and get out of here for 146. But before we go, we'd love to have you join the community. A couple different ways to do that. You can go to Facebook, look up the Gaming Hub forums there, and join that way. You can go to Twitch, TXH Gaming Hub on Twitch, and hit follow. From either of those places, you get a link to our Discord where you can go and take part in the conversation. That's always pretty good, and our Discord continues to grow. So more and more people in there. That's awesome to see. If you want to help support the show, you can do that a couple different ways. Twitch, again, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you get a free Twitch Prime sub to use every single month. And if you choose to spend that on us, we'd really appreciate that. It helps us grow. If not, use it on somebody, help them grow and achieve their goals on Twitch. We also have a Patreon page, patreon.com/gaminghub. And for as little as $2 a month, you get exclusive content. For as little as $5 a month, you're entered into a monthly giveaway for $60 in gift cards to the console of your choice. All right. Guys, this has been episode 146, and we'll be back next week with episode 147. For Graham and Steve and I'm Tyler saying thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next week. Until then, have a great week, everybody. We will talk to you soon.
I'm off to eat a sandwich because we were talking about it, and take care, everyone.